It's YallaHome. YallaHome. With Anna Schofield and Big Cass.
Anna Schofield actually live through till 8 o'clock. Hope you're having a good one, driving safely and all that jazz. Okay, nearly 25 past 5. Let's talk about a brand new film that's coming to Netflix, and it's coming this Friday. I am excited. I am extremely excited. It's called The Prom. Now, if you liked Mamma Mia, if you liked other musical kind of films, then you are going to love this, apparently. That's what they're saying. It's a real campy, sentimental slab of Broadway cake. That's what they're calling it. Apparently, it's really, really sweet. Really, really kind of, you know, that vibe that Mamma Mia has, which I think is particularly exclusive to Mamma Mia because it was one of the first of its kind. And when they said they were going to make a movie of Mamma Mia, I remember thinking, oh, how's that going to work? Because musicals weren't the thing in movies at the time. And then, of course, they brought it out and it was fantastic. And just everybody loved it. The story behind Mamma Mia was quite cool because apparently Meryl Streep, my favourite actress, Meryl Streep went to see it on Broadway. She went to see the stage show. She took her kids and she loved it so much that she came out and she said to her people, you need to get in touch with, the ABBA guys. They do have names, but I can't quite remember now because I didn't really think I was going to tell this story. But it's important for the moral of this particular news story about the prom. Anyway, she just got in touch the next day and said, if you ever make a film of this, I want to play the mum. And they went, really? I mean, when Meryl Streep phones you, you don't go, oh, well, maybe we'll be in touch, do you? So anyway, of course, that was in the pipeline and it happened and they just made the call. And Meryl was like, yes, I'm in. And once you've got Meryl Streep on board for a project, then everyone else just slots into place. So that's what happened with Mamma Mia. Now, jump forward to where we are, 2020. Everyone needs a good kind of sentimental musical because we've had Glee since then and we've had all sorts. And this is where The Prom comes in. If I tell you the lineup, we have James Corden, we have Nicole Kidman, who shock horror can sing. And who knew Nicole Kidman could sing until she did that film, which again I forget. And she sang all the way through and all of us were like, oh my goodness, she can sing as well. She really is a triple threat. She's amazing, beautiful, great actress, and she can sing. Andrew Reynolds is in it, and also Meryl Streep. Amazing. So that's the lineup, and these four apparently just blow it all away. Meryl has come out and her quote is, she said, it literally has the Mamma Mia vibe. I read that and went, yay. It was like one of those private cheers. I'm going to get my pom-poms and I cannot wait to watch it. It might even be a Friday morning kind of a watch. Waking up slowly, having a lie-in, and then eating breakfast, watching a really cheesy musical movie at this time of year as well. It sounds good. So Nicole Kidman is this leggy chorus girl, apparently, with a heart. And James Corden plays a Broadway veteran. They're all musical artists, fluttering about. And then you've got Michael Keegan as the principal of this particular high school. And then you've got, ta-da, Meryl Streep. She's the hog the spotlight one. And she just chews up everyone. I can't wait. It's going to be great. But apparently they all absolutely loved making it. And it was directed by a gentleman called Ryan Murphy, who put a kind of a Glee-tastic thing in there and made it feel a bit Glee-like. And so we know what we're going to get before we've even pressed play on this. But it's released on Netflix on Friday, and it's going to be there for all of us. And I think I'm going to make Cass watch it, and then we'll all come back on Sunday and give a movie review. I could not be more excited. Were I in it? It's The Prom, and it's coming to Netflix this weekend. Lovely, lovely. It's YallaHome. Keep it here. We've got headlines next on Pulse 95.
It's YallaHome. YallaHome. With Anna Schofield and Big Cass.
20 to 6, Big Cass on holiday. Anna Schofield, you know, when the cat's away and all that. So just stand by your beds. 4215 if you want to chat. Let's talk about Uber air taxis. This is just inspired, but it's just my point of view. You might not think so, but I think it's incredible. So GITEX is obviously going on in the UAE at the moment as we speak, and they have unveiled the flying Uber taxi. It's a 7-ton craft, and it's able to hit speeds of 250 kilometers per hour and just offers passengers high-tech kind of solution to getting through traffic. It literally is as simple as that. Let me take you through it. So there's a full-scale model actually at GITEX technology this week. And everyone was given a sneak peek at it. It weighs 7 tons. It's like a Hyundai Uber, apparently. I got no words. And it can carry up to 4 passengers. I think I said 9. I was wrong. It's 4. And a pilot, obviously, when it's fully operational. They are thinking that they want to make it into like a no pilot situation. But at the moment, it's going to have a pilot. So it's only the second time the full-scale aircraft concept has been shown to the public. So it's quite a big deal. It's 9.4 meters long and it's 14 meters with its wings. So that's the wingspan. That's not actually the sort of the body of it. And it can roll out of traffic, literally. They think they're going to have them all in the sky by 2028. And I'm sure Future Talk has been all over this like a rash. But I think this is the only way forward. So Haas said something a few weeks ago. He was like, yeah, but, you know, I can't remember what we were talking about. And he said, no. And he didn't like whatever we were discussing. And I said, but the only thing we can do now is go up. So actually, we're running out of space on the planet. The only thing you can do is go down into the ground or go up. That's the only way. And if we want to beat traffic, and traffic is getting worse and worse, no matter where you are, what country, traffic is getting worse and worse. Even if we switch to electric cars, it's still getting worse and worse because everyone's, you know, the populations are growing. Even after the pandemic, we are hugely populated. And as a result, there's more cars. And most families have at least 2 cars, if not more. If you're living with your older children, they've all got cars as well. So when it comes to, you know, things like this, you can get 4 people in this flying Uber and off you go. It gets high-speed connection, 5G, broader bandwidth. I'm into stuff that I really don't know about here. Low latency. Anyone know what that means? But basically, and they want to do autonomous driving. But anyway, I won't talk about that. So it'll land like a helicopter. So it'll come down straight, as it were. In you get. Close the doors, and then it takes off like a chopper, but then it kind of flies away like a plane. So it doesn't look like a chopper because it has wings. It can fly up to 100 kilometers on a 5-minute battery. Yep. So it charges for 5 minutes and then it can go for 100k and it travels up to 290 kilometers an hour. Boom. So if you need to be somewhere fast and there's traffic everywhere and it's 6 o'clock, maybe you're trying to get into Sharjah at 6 p.m., just get the flying Uber. That's all we need. And we'll get there really, really fast. I'm so excited about this. So they want to have it fully operational and rolled out by 2028, but I reckon they could do it sooner. And I bet we'll have some in the air by 2024. That's my prediction. It's got numerous sensors, loads of cameras, GPS system. Naturally, we all need that. And the vehicle will be able to map the flight based on weather conditions and switch to autopilot. Amazing. Bring it on. All we need is the vaccines and some flying Ubers and we are good. And you heard it here first. Not fast. 5:45, Anna Schofield on YallaHome on Pulse 95.
It's YallaHome. YallaHome. With Anna Schofield and Big House. Music's greatest songs. Greatest songs. Worth covering. Original classic hitmakers.
Now this, in my world, is quite a famous tune. Not from when it came out, but it's re-releases since. But the singer was brought to my attention in later years, and I'm going to delve into her history. We're talking about a singer called Sam Brown, and if you're from the UK, you might know of her. She actually has had the majority of her career kind of being a backing vocalist, but it doesn't do her justice. And I remember discussing this with the owner of a very famous sort of nightclub. I want to say nightclub, but it was more than a nightclub. It's where there was live music. It's called the Mean Fiddler in London. The Mean Fiddler was super cool. All the bands went there up until, I imagine, the late 90s. I didn't know of it. I came in on the back end and the Mean Fiddler group had bought a radio station in London. And I got a call from my sister saying, she's also a radio presenter, saying, Anna, I've got the breakfast show and the Mean Fiddler owned the station. And I was obviously going, amazing. And I was doing something else at the time. And she went, come on, they need a drive time host. You go for drive time. She said, I've sold you in. It's one of those ridiculous things. And I went, okay. Anyway, needless to say, they said, come and meet us. And so I went to the Mean Fiddler. I'd heard of this sort of super cool proper rock club as well. It was like sticky floors and open till 4 a.m. kind of thing. Anyway, went there, met the owner of the Mean Fiddler and the new program controller of the radio station, and they went, yeah, done. And they also liked the fact that there was two sisters. So my sister did the breakfast show, I did the drive time show, and they got lots of press off the back of that because there were no real sisters in radio at the time. I don't know whether there are now, but at the time it was a thing. This is going somewhere, I promise. So we did this, and then we ended up being taken out. When we were hired, we were taken out to dinner by all the big bosses. And there was a very famous actor as part of the group, and we were in this kind of, I suppose, limo. And people kept getting in to the car, and we were going around. We didn't know where we were going. We were just going with, these guys, these amazing guys, and we were on our way to the restaurant. People kept getting in, and then someone said, "Oh yeah, well we're meeting Sam at the restaurant." And of course, we didn't know who Sam was, and we didn't say anything. And someone said something about her singing, and I turned around and went, "Sam Brown," and they went, "Oh yeah, well do you know her?" Because obviously I probably looked too young to really know Sam Brown at the time. And I went, yeah, of course, she did Stop. And they went, yeah, amazing. Oh, well, anyway, she's meeting us at the restaurant, upon which my sister and I just went, no way. And I remember saying to them, what happened? Because she did Stop, and then I don't really know much about it. And they went, yeah, well, she just didn't really have another big hit after that. And I said, but that's such a shame because it was such a massive tune. And they went, yeah, but it happens to everyone, doesn't it? There's loads of singers out there like that. And it really stayed with me. But anyway, there we went off to the restaurant. We all had dinner. And of course, when you own an event place like that, of course you have singers and you know people in the industry. And it always stayed with me. And I'm going to play you the song Stop by Sam Brown. And I think you'll understand because she's got quite a unique sound. She's a little bit Dido, but she's a bit rougher than Dido. And she was before Dido. So she had the original kind of wispy sound to her voice. She also does this thing when she sings is she can drop down a level or notch up, and it's kind of a click up. I wouldn't know what it was called. There'll be probably artists listening going, what on earth is she talking about? But I'm not professional in terms of being able to label what the singer's doing. But when you hear the song, you'll understand what I mean. She can jump an octave and it just sounds gorgeous. So she was born in October in 1964. I had no idea that she was that old. Samantha Brown, and she was the daughter of Joe Brown, a big artist in the UK. Do you want to hear something else really funny? My dad, when he started his career, he's an actor, but when he started his career, he was a singer, he was the lead singer of a band, and he always tells the story of how he was on the same poster as Joe Brown. Joe Brown was headlining, and he was one of the bands who were backing Joe Brown. That was always weird as well. I was like, goodness, how things come around. She had this situation where she was quite early doors used. They discovered her voice. So she was born in Stratford in the UK, and her mother was a session singer as well, Vicky Brown. And her first work in the industry was in 1978. She was 14 years old, and she ended up singing backing vocals on a final studio album by a band called the Small Faces. Now, I've heard of them, but only through doing research for the Music Greats, not because I know the band. So I'm going to obviously go back and we'll try and get a track on the Music Greats at a later date from the Small Faces, because I kind of feel that I know more than I realise I know. It's one of those. It's coming from having music in the house forever. I'm sure my parents talked about them. And then she worked as a backing vocalist with several other bands, including from the 80s, Spandau Ballet, and with her mum on her mum's album, Deep Purple, which is just unbelievable. So she worked with her mum. She signed a recording contract in 1986 with A&M, and her most successful song at that point was Stop. Now, it was released, and this is where it gets interesting, it was released as a single in 1988 and didn't do anything. It sat at number 52 or something, nothing happened. For some reason, the album then came out in 1989 and they re-released the single, and that's where it went pop on the second release. Absolutely amazing. Everybody loved it, and it sat for 8 weeks at number 4. Just was such a good song. There is something very passionate about Sam Brown singing this song. And when she sings it, you know Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares to You. I always feel with that song that no one has ever really covered it. Even though Prince wrote it and Prince has done his own version on an album, he does not ever do it musical justice the way Sinead O'Connor did. There was something very painful in Sinead's version of Nothing Compares to You. I feel the same way, about Sam Brown singing this song, Stop. There is a real vulnerability to her and a real kind of, you're gonna break me if you keep doing this. And it's got that kind of, so I want you to listen and really understand that when you hear. Talking about the other bands that she managed to sing on, she worked with Pink Floyd for the longest time and David Gilmour. I'm a closet Pink Floyd fan, which is purely down to my father, who took me to Pink Floyd concerts when I was way, way too young. And that's a story for another time. True acting family. And I even saw The Wall. I was the youngest person, I'm sure, to be in that concert venue in Earl's Court in London to see Pink Floyd do The Wall live. But she didn't sing on that one because that was before even her time. But she sung on The Division Bell, which I remember was one of their later albums. Various others, obviously I've mentioned Spandau Ballet, and they do a list at the end of all the bands that she's, I'm trying to find them, that she's actually sung with, because she's just gone through her life singing with them. Jules Holland as well. I must do Jules Holland. Who has heard of Jules Holland and his big band? Because they're incredible. And Jules Holland loves Sam Brown because his father, Joe Brown, was very good friends with Jules Holland. So Sam managed to do backing vocals, lots of live stuff with Jules Holland, and Jules Holland is amazing live and was huge. So let's talk about this song. She wrote it. How about that? And it was from her debut album of the same name. So it was her, Greg Sutton, and a guy called Bruce Brody. They wrote it, and it just sat there in the singles charts, doing so well. And she must have at this point thought, amazing, I've cracked it, and then never was able to repeat that kind of fame. And it's something about the passion in the song. Jamelia did a version, and it wasn't until I was researching the song that I suddenly went, oh yeah, Jamelia did it. So Jamelia covered the song Stop, and she did it for Bridget Jones' The Edge of Reason, the movie, and so they put it into the movie. So that's where you might know the song from, and that was 2004. It was released as a double A side, and it had DJ on the other side and all that kind of jazz, and it was, super good. It stormed the charts. Everything was lovely, but Jamelia does not sing it like Sam Brown. So let's do it. Let's press play on this beautiful song and listen to the heartbreak in it. She wrote it herself. It's called Stop. It's Sam Brown on the Music Greats on YallaHome.
It's YallaHome. YallaHome. With Anna Schofield and Big Hass.
Just Anna Schofield live through till 8, holding the fort down on YallaHome for the next couple of days. Let's talk about Saturday, because obviously we've got the weekend coming. The Prom, the new Netflix movie with Meryl Streep, James Corden and Nicole Kidman. That's coming out on Friday. And then on Saturday, it's going to be a great weekend. We have Saturday Live, and this is, of course, with Big Hass. So he comes roaring out on the radio at 6 o'clock through 6 till 7. It's just 1 hour, but it's 1 hour of total magic. If you haven't had a listen, do dip in this Saturday. Each week he has amazing sponsors, which means that if you perform for him, and that's what he wants you to do. He wants you to sing along with him. He wants you to answer questions about movies. And the calls start literally at 5 to 6. The phone's ringing off the hook. The text machine's going nuts. And you can actually text him beforehand. So any text that you send through for Saturday Vibe, he will get, don't worry. These are the 3 lots of prizes that we have. Amazing. We've got G-Shock and Baby G. We have a watch for you. Remember that G-Shock was highlighted in the Genius book as the toughest watch. Fact. We also have the most amazing Sharjah Investment and Development Authority prize from Sharuk. So they're giving, the prize is worth 500 dirhams basically, but what they've done is split it into vouchers so that you get all of these things. Breakfast for 2 at Levantine Restaurant, day tour tickets for 2 people at City Sightseeing Sharjah. You get entry tickets for 2 at Noor Island, and wait, last but not least, dine in for 2 at Noor Cafe at Al Noor Island. So those are all the things that you can win. Along with Prime Medical Centre also chipping in, 100% sure, 0% doubt, and they are giving away all sorts of things which are obviously amazing. You are a heartbeat away from expert cardiology if you go and see them at Prime Medical Centre. I nearly said primeval because that's how it looks like from far away, the 2 words together. but also childcare and safety are both of prime importance to Prime Medical Centre. Those three amazing sponsors, why wouldn't you tune in? It's Saturday Vibes, 6 till 7. Coming up this weekend, Big Hass will be there. It's Pulse 95.
It's YallaHome. YallaHome. With Anna Schofield and Big Hass.
Anna Schofield, holding it down through till 8 o'clock tonight here at YallaHome. All right, let's talk about the rescuing of 1,400 cats and dogs. It's quite a big thing here in the UAE. I love the rescue centres. I've been here 10 years. I talk about it all the time. I've proudly been here 10 years. And I would like to stay another 10. I would do 20 in a heartbeat. But one of the things that I have watched over the 10 years is actually the rescue centres for wild animals build up. When I first got here, I had a few cats. I'm completely that mad cat lady. I love cats. I think they're really funny. And because they're so independent, I feel that they love you because they really love you, because they'll immediately tell you if they're not feeling the love. So I'm a big cat person, but if you speak to Big Hass, he'll say he's a dog person. The thing is that 10 years ago, cats used to fall by the wayside. I know they were a problem. There's lots of wild cats here. And there weren't really the facilities set up at the time. And I lost 2 or 3 because they would come and clear the wild cats, which was obviously something good for the community in the region, because cats can be annoying, except that my cats got kind of bundled into the vans with those cats at the time. So I went through a lot of heartbreak with that. 10 years on, though, absolutely incredible. I've got 3 cats now, Chewy, Nigel and Little Betty. Don't ask about the names, all named by our children. And Nigel is a ginger cat. And a friend of ours said, yep, every accountant I know is ginger and they're all called Nigel. That's what one of our British friends said, which was really funny. It's our daughter that named him Nigel. Especially calling him outside Nigel. It's such a formal name. It does sound like the name of your accountant, doesn't it? And our cat's called Nigel. And then his wife, Little Betty. I mean, honestly. Anyway, so we have these 3 cats and they are chipped. I know always to put a collar on my cat because they tend to, if the cats are collared, then everyone knows that they are domesticated cats and not the wild ones. And you just learn. Cut to China. I know, that was a severe sudden cut, but wait, there's a reason. Auntie Wen, her name is. She's this Chinese lady determined to rehome as many stray animals as possible, and apparently there's a lot. She said 20 years ago, she saved one little abandoned dog from the streets of Chongqing, I think, in southwestern China. She now shares her home with more than 1,300 of them. Yeah, dogs and cats, and they keep on coming. After taking that first dog, and let's not pronounce the name again, because I think that will just do double R in. He's already laughing his head off. She found a Pekingese called Wenjing. Couldn't write it. Gentle and quiet, that means in Chinese. And Mrs. Jun Hong then went on to find more. She said she was driven by worries about what strays face on the streets in China. What they face on the streets everywhere is awful. And accidents that happen, especially there. And this is her quote, because of the dog meat trade. Because, of course, to them, it's a food source as well. So she said it's important to look after these animals and each of us should respect life. The earth is not only for humans. Yeah, I think we're finding that out. The globe is taking itself back. And so this is what she's doing, and she's dedicated her life to it. So she said views on pets in China have changed dramatically. Ownership has boomed, but the country does still have quite an issue with stray animals, and that they're working on their national animal welfare law, because tens of millions of dogs and cats, according to the charity Animals Area, are still stray. So she's dedicating her life. And of course, with an article like this, they put in all these cute pictures of little puppies and little cats and kittens and things like that, all in little cages and beds, and you literally want to adopt all of them. But it's lovely. It's really, really nice. She says the large dogs are kept outside and the small ones are indoors. If it's cold outside, you're going to wish you were a small dog, weren't you? That doesn't seem fair, but what do you do? And that is Auntie Wen. Go see the pictures, and remember, always rescue, always adopt, don't shop, don't go and buy one. Always go and rescue one, because there are so many around. Wherever you are, what country you're in, There's always strays. Go and get one. 25 past 7 is Anna Schofield on YallaHome on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of YallaHome, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.